6:31. The meeting will come to order, please. We're waiting for one other person. As far as I know, Leslie will be here. So if you are able, let's stand and offer a pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty, justice for all. Thank you. And please silence your phones if you have one and have not done so already. So we do have a quorum. We're only missing one person. I need to read the meeting procedures to you. The governing board and its committees conduct all of their meetings in compliance with Arizona Planned Community Association open meeting laws per ARS 83-1804 and in concert with RCSCW bylaws, policies, and standing rules. Parliamentary procedures as outlined in the most recent edition of Robert's Rules of Orders will also be followed in all meetings as appropriate, consistent with Bylaw 3.07, Procedures for Owner-Member Meetings, and Standing Rules 2 and 3. This was adopted by the Governing Board on January 23rd, 2025. Okay. Next is approval of our minutes from our September 3rd meeting. Were there any corrections, additions to those minutes? If not, they will stand approved as written. Thank you. So our first order of business today is to hear from Mr. James Riley. He's going to give us an update on sign laws and what we can do as far as state laws and et cetera. So go for it.
Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
James.
Thanks for having me here today. The only state law that has changed is some amendments to the ARS code 1261 and 1808. And essentially that particular code has changed flags to be considered a political sign. So that impacts homeowners that may have a political sign up right now. It went into effect on the 26th of September. And those have to come down. They can only be up from 71 days prior to a general election and have to come down 15 days after. And that rings true with our election as well. So anybody that does do a political sign, we don't see a lot of that usually with our elections, but someone might get the idea to do so. And then when it comes to signage throughout the community, this is important. With our election, and I've spoken with the folks over at Maricopa County, that essentially if they're in the Maricopa County right-of-way, if you will, which would be, for example, like along R.H. Johnson, they can be classified as rubbish and they can remove them and throw them away if they chose to do so. One of the things with the signs is it's very important as far as placement. If you have a candidate that has a friend that lives on a corner, for example, you have to make sure that that is not in the sight view of somebody trying to turn the corner, things of that nature. Those can be removed by the county or moved, and that's why all signs must have a contact name and a phone number. They will, if they have to move a sign due to safety issues or for some other reason, they will contact you within, I believe it's 48 hours, to let you know that they have removed or moved the sign. And they will retain that sign for, I believe, 30 days if you want to retrieve it. A couple other things to look at is that other statute does prohibit 9 square feet of signage on your property. So you could have 9 1-by-1 signs or 1 large sign. It cannot go on your roof at any time. And let's see here. As far as, you know, obviously the basics, signs can't have any type of profanity and things of that nature on them. And with our election, the signs need to be down within 3 days after our election, which that's kind of a stipulation for Sun City West as well. And outside of that, I don't have much more to say other than Katie kind of addressed a little bit of the fact that signs, posters, things of that nature cannot be anywhere on our property and or in our easement of any of our rec centers as well. and no posters up in the common areas and things of that nature.
So basically, if somebody wanted to put a campaign sign out, it can go on private property,
Correct. It could go in their front yard, their friend's
Somebody
front
else's.
yard. Absolutely.
but basically nowhere else.
Correct.
Okay,
If they are on the side, the county does have, side of the road, for example, on R.H. Johnson, the county does have the right to pull that.
okay,
But again, it's really important that they do have their name and phone number on all their signage.
okay. All right, that's good to know. We need to add that probably to our petitioner packet. Okay, all right. All right, anybody have any questions for James? Yes,
James, just a question on putting brochures on houses without, unattended. Is that, can we do that now or not? I mean, before we could not.
I will say that soliciting, we are not a private community, if you will, or a gated community, is permissible. So we all receive them, the lawn care signs on our doors, things of that nature. Technically, if you have a no soliciting sign, they should not be leaving those items on your door. I have one, it doesn't seem to prevent them from doing so, but technically they can do that.
Okay, so that's new this year.
Yeah, it's not necessarily new, but soliciting is not against the law, if you will, in a non-gated community.
If you do have a no soliciting sign on your door and you see something left there, a pamphlet or something like that, can the resident contact your department and make some sort of formal CCNR inquiry?
Absolutely, and we would contact whoever that individual is, but it usually doesn't go very far, I'm sorry to say. We do see a lot of that type of debris or soliciting that goes on, with people leaving cards and so forth.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think the change in the law that she's referring to is for those communities that are gated. Previously, you could prohibit people who weren't members from coming in and doing door-to-door. Now, you can't prohibit it, but you can require them to be escorted by an owner member. So it was kind of expanding the laws to make sure people had all the opportunity possible to use common areas, those kinds of things. That's why we changed ours to delineate that they can use common areas, and we posted which is a common area.
Thank you. Thank you.
our main job today is to review the petitioner packet. Susan spent quite a bit of time going over it, reorganizing it, changing some of the wording. So I need your input and your suggestions as to any changes you would like to make or how you think we should rearrange this possibly. I had someone suggest that we should post the petitioner packet online. Obviously, we cannot do that because that gives us absolutely no control over who can print it and go out there and be doing whatever they want with it. We could, however, have some kind of a information sheet. If you are interested in running for the governing board, these are the things that you could consider. It's like what we had in the other package that said running for the governing board. It's that introduction letter. So what Susan has done here, it's page 7, and it starts with governing board director election, the 2025-26 petitioner packet, and it lists the different obligations and expectations, opportunities, challenges, and candidate preparation. I'm thinking that might be something we could use as an information sheet. And that would be the first thing in our packet after the table of contents. And it could conceivably, either be handed out to people who are interested in running, or I don't know, Katie, you would know about being able to post it to that vote website, vote.
Our vote? Yeah, it's just a web page that we normally don't launch that till close to the election, but we can find a house for it year round if you want, and then promote it again when we launch that.
Okay. Would that be a logical place for people to go if they wanted to find out more about, before they pick up a petitioner packet, if they wanted to know really what's involved in
Right.
running for the governing board?
We could certainly put it on the website, or we could request to be put on the board docs webpage, which kind of houses most of the governing board stuff.
Okay.
So either one, whichever you guys find most useful.
Yeah, that G-Hub, I think that would probably be a better, okay.
Yeah, I agree. If we put this page on the main website on a regular basis, it gets out there more frequently, more people have an opportunity to review it, and maybe it can generate some interest that way. That otherwise they're not gonna go to board docs, for example, unless they happen to be a committee member of some sort. So I think getting as much exposure out of this is a good idea.
Okay.
One other thought I forgot, we do have an application for volunteering or running for a board or committee that's already online, and it has descriptions of the different committees, so we can look at the language that's already on there for this committee and either replace it with this or add this as an attachment on that page as well.
Okay. Yeah, because this is more what the governing board, what the board of directors do, not, the committees, so to speak. Okay?
I have a couple comments. I thought Susan did a good job reorganizing everything, and I would just add, putting the pages back on the table of contents, which kind of a minor thing. And then I personally like the election schedule sheet that was taken out, because being more visual, you could see everything much clearer than having to jump from point to point. So that's the only thing I had to
So
recommend.
the calendar.
Uh-huh.
of dates. Yeah, I think it's good. Sorry. I think it's good to have that close to the front. So this, let's relabel this petitioner packet as, let's just running for the governing board. Let's put that title on the top of it. Move that to page 1 after the table of contents.
Yeah, the intent was like putting a table of contents in, but unfortunately I don't have the skills to match what I put here to the document. So someone who has better skills than I would need to do that to make it effective.
We'll figure that out. There were a couple of things, suggestions that we add to that page under the director opportunities. The very last thing in red there is encourage participation of community residents. And then under the next one, director challenges, support decisions reached by a majority of the governing board. That probably should go up under the first, obligations and expectations. Okay, so we'll move that. Anything else? Any ideas, suggestions, questions? Okay. So that's going to be after the table of contents. That will be the next thing. And then the key dates. Would be the next thing. And there is another document that Katie has produced that is an election timeline, and I'm sure she can provide that for us that would go here with the key dates, because it's an important part of it. Right. So the next thing then, I believe, would be the overview, and that is page 4 of the packet. Okay, I suggest in that first paragraph, in the second line towards the end, it says the governing board consists of 9 residents. I would reword that a little bit and put the governing board of directors consists of 9 residents. 3 are elected each year for 3-year terms beginning July 1. And I would delete the rest of that line about them being staggered terms. Is that okay with everybody?
I believe that language is in one of the later documents, so if we change it here, we probably need to maintain some consistency with one of the following documents.
Okay,
I'm just,
we'll watch for that. Okay. And then on the back of that page, well, it should have been, well, it says page 3, but whatever it is, it's the, oh, no, this is part of the table of contents. That's why it's page 3. It's under reference materials. We just need to change that to the GB Hub website rather than,
And I would just use
Or dots.
GB dot, don't use the word hub in there.
Okay.
They call it the hub, but gb.suncitywest.com is kind of the short link.
okay. Excellent. 2, 3, 4. Yes.
so the way it was the way we'd prefer it, GB dot. That's what I had in there originally.
Yeah, both will work. I think there was some thought about changing it to GB Hub, so both of them work, but just for consistency, gb.suncitywest.com.
So it'll remain, okay, thank you.
Just trying to make things more difficult. And then we get to the actual petitioning process. And I did not see anything in here that was really different from what our original petitioner packet was. It's pretty cut and dry. I mean, it doesn't really change much from year to year. And, you know, the packet, the petition and the circulator, that's part of the bylaws. That's not going to change at all. Any comments?
I just want to say good job, Susan.
Yeah, that was good. It's, I like the reorganization.
Yeah.
A bit. I think it's, I think it flows better. Yeah. Okay. Folks? Really? Are we all done? Okay. Oh, well, we're done with that. Okay, so I love this flyer that Katie did on the sign regulations and the one on the flag. So those will be part of the petitioner packet, too. Okay. All right, where is my... Hold on a second. Okay, moving along to 3.03, additional governing board election candidate community exposure opportunities. The forum is March 4th. The meet and greet then is March the, when is the meet and greet? It's March the 18th. So if we had maybe one more opportunity that we could provide a tent or whatever, and this was a suggestion from the committee last year, one more opportunity for the candidates to meet with the public, with our residents. One more opportunity, I think, is enough, because they can go out themselves individually to any of these different events that are going on. So there is one on February 16th. It is a Munchie Monday. They have a band. It's here in the parking lot. And I know they did that last year. They had the a tent, and I think, you know, so I don't want to add too many, because, you know, the forum is a good opportunity, and a lot of people come to that. I hope we can get more people to come to the meet and greet, because that gives them really an opportunity to kind of meet one-on-one.
Also doing something like that with the, on the Munchie Monday thing, in a format like that, it's informal. Residents can wander in, wander out, that sort of thing, and the candidates won't feel as pressed maybe to they have ready answers and things like that. That just gives conversations back and forth to get a feel for what the candidates are and what they represent.
Yeah, let's get acquainted, putting
Yeah,
a face to a
exactly.
name.
The meet and greet does some of that, but the meet and greet is also a more formal thing with opening speeches, and things like that. So something like this, that's more of a social event, you know, depending, I think, on how many candidates we end up with.
Yes.
When we had, like, you know, last year's 10, that can get a little, you know, unwieldy, but if we end up with somewhere a little less than that, then this would definitely be a good opportunity.
Okay. So
One man's opinion.
yeah. Is everybody on board with that?
Sure.
And we would need to coordinate that with Casey for a tent? Okay. All right. Yeah, there are other opportunities here for candidates to do things after they go through candidate orientation, which is January 14th, I believe. So there's a cabaret series. There's well, let's see, what else is here? There's music on the green. Once you get into February, though, the forum is on the 4th, and then 2 weeks later is the meet and greet, and then online voting starts. So March fills up really quick. So we'll just go with that one on February 16th, and I will get with Casey to make sure we have a table. Okay. So the one thing that I did not put on our agenda is making sure we have people to cover when people come in to pick up their petitioner packet. We'll sit outside Karen's office and be there 9 o'clock to basically 2 o'clock. We'll be there until about 3, you know, but we ask them to come in by 2, because by the time we talk to them and give them a packet and et cetera, explain any questions they might have. So I'll be asking which of you are available. That will be November the 3rd, the first Monday in November. Okay. So, according to Karen, really most people pick up their packets within the first 3 days. So if we can cover those 3 days, then after that, if somebody comes in, she can either hand out the packet, or she can say, call, you know, one of us and make arrangements to get the packet. So hopefully most people will come those first 3 days, so. But I'll be in touch as we get a little closer and you know what your schedules are.
Kathy, just a question, are we gonna have packets at home to pass out to people, or when you say they're gonna call us, what do you mean by that?
If for some reason Karen isn't available, they could make arrangements for a specific time that one of us can go down and hand it out. Yeah, I think we need to keep it formal rather than, you know, have them showing up at my house to pick up something, but we can schedule something, okay? All righty. Okay, are there any other comments from the committee? We're about done with our meeting. Not even half an hour, folks. I'm impressed. Susan?
I just have a question. I don't know if we resolved it, is, there was some hard deadline for verifying the petition signatures, and there was a question as if that could be done or not. And I don't know enough about the process to make a
I
judgment.
did talk to Karen about it, and she said, yes, it's not a problem that date, because she knows who has the petitions, and if she hasn't gotten them in, generally she does, way ahead of time, she'll be on the phone, say, you know, you've only got another couple of days, you need to get it in here, so she said that is not a problem.
And Karen is the one who does the verification?
Actually, it's member services.
Should we note that, or does that matter?
No, it needs to go to her, and then she takes it to member services because they've got all the computer programs to, you know, run through a database or whatever it is they do to verify it, okay? Yes, Merle.
There are no questions on YouTube.
Okay, thank you. All right. And since we only have one person in our audience this afternoon, do you have any comments? All right, thank you. So our next meeting will be on November 5th. And being no other comments, we will adjourn the meeting at 1:58. Thank you very much.